Hey, it's Dustin with the Davidson Group here at ReeceNichols with another episode of Real Talk number 4 coming at you. Today we're going to talk a little bit more personal, just something that's been going on in the past few weeks. My wife Tia and I have been a part of a Sunday school that is about parenting. Dr. Kevin Lehman's been, it's a video study and a book that we follow through, and it's been a lot of good information. We've got 2 little ones. We've got Sawyer, who is almost 4. We've got Sagan, who is almost 2. And so we're still really in the beginning stages of parenthood. And we're finding out a lot about ourselves. We're finding out a lot about what it is to be a parent in today's world, and just how to address your kids. But something was interesting over this past week. As we were leaving church, Tia and I were discussing the lesson and things we took away from it, things that we could potentially implement, or definitely things we should not do. And we were talking about how the application isn't just for parents. There's a lot of conversation about for grandparents too, but really I think it goes further than that. It goes into just relationship building in general. And so as I'm looking at this study, and obviously I learned things from my profession of how to engage and communicate with others, how to negotiate, how to work through a transaction or through a deal, and obviously how to market a property and sell a property. I mean, those are all essentials. But at the core base of this industry, and I think most industries, right? I've not worked in every industry, so I don't want to speak for them fully, but I think it comes down to relationships and building a relationship, whether that's a relationship with your client. Hey, I'm going to help you, Mr. and Mrs. Sellers or Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, to transition, right, from selling that home into the new, or making that first-time home purchase. Maybe it's a relationship with your vendor partners, like a lender or a title company, insurance, appraisers, you name it. You create these relationships. And something that people don't often think about is the relationship with our other realtors. That's important to create and harbor those relationships, because we lean on them in times of negotiation. Making sure that we can get into properties, making sure that we're having clear communication. And so I like to create those relationships and be able to reach out and have conversation with those individuals that, outside of that conversation, they're my competition. And it's a friendly competition. Doesn't mean that I want them to win over me, or they me over them, right? It's definitely clear cut in that regard. But I think this industry allows itself for all of us to take steps forward and make progress in our business, and it doesn't have to be cutthroat. I hear agents talk about, who have been in the business for a long time, definitely much more than my 3 years, about how cutthroat it is and how people will go out and take people or clients from you and backstab you, or whatever the case is. And again, 3 years in the business, so I don't have a long track record to lean on, but I can't say that's been the case for me. And maybe there's been some instances where something's happened unbeknownst to me, but it's really the relationships that I've built and cultured and created over those past few years have been wonderful. Pick up the phone and call an agent and ask how things are going with the property, or if I can get in and see it, or if we're in negotiations, there's a stop and a start to those negotiations, and then that relationship continues on throughout that. So we don't have to be emotional about the process, or say things we don't mean, or say things we shouldn't, right? And so circling this back into these parenting classes that we're taking, I'm not taking a parenting class to become a better real estate agent, to become a better servant to you, or a better peer to my fellow realtors, but I can see the things that I'm learning and the things that I'm seeing are going to help me build those relationships, or build a better foundation for those relationships as I move forward. And so it's exciting to see the application in multiple places. I'd ask you this, more of just a touch point. In your line of work, in your profession, whatever you do, are the relationships that you create? And what would change if you focused on those relationships with your peers, with your boss, with maybe your customer, your consumer, that inside of it? Whatever the industry may be, I believe that a relationship is the core of what that industry is. And if you focus on creating a deeper and more meaningful relationship, just my opinion, I think that you're going to do better. You'll find more fulfillment. You'll be there for others, and they can lean on you and you them, and it'll just allow you to move forward in a great manner. Anyways, drop a comment down below. Let me know what you do. Let me know if you think building a stronger relationship would benefit your industry. Hey, maybe we can talk about it in person over a cup of coffee. It's been episode 4 of Real Talk here. I'm enjoying this series. It's a weekly series, obviously, that we're doing, and these videos are going to be uploaded on Tuesdays, and I hope you find some enjoyment on them, getting to know a little bit more about me, a little bit more about the backside of our industry, and just, you know, get you more acclimated to not just the numbers and the houses and those pieces that you would typically see from a realtor or from the real estate industry, right? There's a lot more to it. There's a lot more depth, and it's really such a fulfilling industry. Anyways, until we talk next week, hope this finds you well. If there's anything I can do to be of service to you, please don't hesitate to reach out. Until then.